What's up, everybody? All right, some chord questions. We're going to talk about seventh chords, how to figure them out, and how to name them appropriately. This came from a lesson. I was with a client. We were doing a little bit more of a singer-songwriter thing, and we were just working with an E7. Actually, just kind of like popped up in one of the progressions, and they said, "Oh, E major 7 because it's derived from a major chord, not a minor chord." And I said, "No. E major 7 is a different chord than an E7, and then an E minor 7. And then we had gone into the theory, and I think it is pretty important to start learning those, even if you're sort of considered a little bit more of just like a major minor kind of singer-songwriter player. Those chords can be really beneficial to spice up your sound. And then if you are playing them and you're just like not really sure how or why they're named a certain thing, we're going to go through that. So we're going to start with the number system. Just for right now, the number system in the theory, if it's a little bit over your head, just bear with me for a second. You're more than welcome to rewind and go through it to try to get it if you don't know too much about like the number system with the major scale. But the application is just on the other end, so this won't take very long. But basically what we have is, if I have my A major, and I have my A major scale, right, my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then my octave, which restarts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then my root note again. My A major is my 1, my 3, and my 5, right? Those are the notes that are stacked up. So in that whole chord, no matter how you play an A major, there's 1s, 3s, and 5s in that chord. And that goes for any major chord. Any straight major chord, there's only 1s, only 3s, and only 5s in there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start with the A major 7. Now, if we take this major scale again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you notice that the 7th note is just a half step away, right, from the octave, right? It's one fret below. That's the addition for a major 7. So you'll see like A, sometimes it's Maj7, right? Sometimes it's a triangle. Watch out for that. That's sort of like an old fake book, real book jazz thing. The triangle. So it's usually, especially if you're kind of just reading charts off the internet, it should be like a C Maj7 would be how it's written, C major 7. So what we're doing now is we're taking the 1, the 3, and the 5 from our A major, and we're just adding that 7 in there, okay? So I want to show you where we can play it a couple times, okay? Because it does get a little bit tricky to visualize. So check this out. If I have this, I do not need this note anymore, all right? That's the 5th of the chord. We don't really need that. Plus, it appears twice in this chord anyway. And the 5th, especially once we start adding the 7s in, are not that necessary. So let's check this out. Let's take that away, all right? And then, so this is pretty much what we have, right? Now, that's my octave. I want to bring that note down to the 7. That's my 7. This is my major 3rd, which is exactly where your middle finger is. So now it kind of goes 5, nothing, 6, 6, 5. Okay, that's like one form, a pretty popular form of the major 7. Okay, another one that also is really cool. This is the one that I use a little bit more because this puts that 7 tone on the top of the chord. Is sort of like this. So it's 5, nothing, 7, 6, 5, and then 4 is where our major 7 is. Okay, so I like that voicing. Now that can go all over. If we do C, same form, 8, 9, 9, 8, or 8, nothing, 9, 9, 8, or 8, 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay, those are the major 7s. Now, when you see just an A7, really quickly, no, let me do starting on the 5th fret just to show you guys. If I have this, my C major chord, bar chord, we want to take, this is my 1, it's my 5, my 1 again, and then my 3 down here. We just want to take this octave, bring it down to the 7. So now you have 3, 5, 4, 5. And you can actually add that 3 on the bottom too. Right, pretty standard form for the major 7. Now, if we get into the 7, A7, right? We're doing, it's derived from a major chord, so we have a 1, 3, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 5. And then instead of a 7, 6, 7, we're gonna add the flat 7. That's what the A7 is, right? Or the C7, or the whatever. Just the letter, just the tone, and the 7. So there's a few ways to play that. If you just play your bar chord and you lift up your pinky, right, that'll do it. That's a little tough sometimes to get that. So my guitar has like super high action, so sometimes that's a little tough. Take your pinky and put it down here now on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Right. It's one way to do it. So either this pulled off, because that's your octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, octave, bring it down, not just to the 7, but to the flat 7, all right? And that's where you get that, and then you can also add it there as well. This is also your flat 7 where your pinky is. So that works. If we take it up to D, let's say, right, D, pull your pinky up, and you can put it there also as well, on the 13th fret of the 2nd string. And then taking the same exact form now, if I do C here, instead of doing this, which was bringing my octave down just to the 7, like we did before, where it was 3, 5, 4, 5, I bring down one more, 3, 5, 3, 5. And you're gonna add the 3 in the bottom. So now 3, 5, 3, 5, 3. And that in the middle there is my flat 7, okay? And then lastly, this is another one that if you do 3, 2, 3, and then 3 on the bottom, nothing on the 2nd string. Right, that's built a little bit differently. That's my root note, my 3rd, my flat 7, and then my 5 on the bottom. Right? So that takes care of the 7. Now, the minor 7. It's implied that anytime you have a minor and then you add a 7 to it, that the 7 is going to be flat, not natural, not what we did first. So A, make it minor, and then a flat 7 was just your pinky coming up. So that's just 5, 7, and then 5's the whole way down. Right, if you want to add the flat 7 also here, you can do that, the 8th fret on the 2nd string. That's totally fine. If you want to make it a little bit more closed, you can do that. I really like that form where it's 5, nothing, 5, 5, 5. That's also kind of really nice. So again, you can move that around. And then the minor 7 here, if I have my C, make it minor, and then give me a flat 7 by lifting that pinky up. So now that's 3, 5, 3, 4, 3, and that's your minor 7. There's a few more that I don't want to get into now, unless you watch this video. You're interested in the video. It's not something that you've already learned before, and it's intriguing to you. If anybody does want our diminished, our half diminished, and some of just like some of the wilder chords, I could throw those in, but I don't want to convolute it too much, because those are going to be your major. Your main. I don't want to say major. Your main 3 chords. You'll see A minor 7. C, M-A-J, major 7, or just in D7, right? Those are going to be the most common. So I hope that does clear it up. I know that there's a lot of theory in there, so if anybody does have questions, go ahead and type them below, and I will reply. I'm going to throw this in there before I forget. Let me just give you the open chord forms to some of these. If we have E, major. The E major 7, not super common down in this position, but it does happen. You could do it. There's your E right there, bringing that down 1 fret. So then you sort of have a 0, 2, 1, 1. It's kind of a strange chord, but it works. And then in E7 is our E major, bring that down 2 frets, which would be open. Then we have an E7. That's the same thing with A. We've got our A. The major 7 is bringing that down 1, so now you've got a 0, 2, 1, 2. And then if we want to make it an A7, we got 0, 2, 0, 2. And then 0 on the bottom. We'll do G. Right, you could do a G major 7, bringing that down just 1 fret. All right, you don't necessarily need that 2 in there because you've got that note, that's your third, you've got that note on the 2nd string, but you still could put it in there. There's nothing wrong with that. You just have to figure out the best way you would like to do it. If you have a 2, a 3, 2, and then a 2 on the bottom, and then a G7, if we have our G chord, we take that G, that's our root note, bring it down 2 frets to a 1, okay? Now, if we do the minor 7s, E minor with a flat 7 up. So it's just the 2 on the 5th string. Right, if we do A minor, flat 7. Right, so that's our A minor 7 there. The G minor 7, I would honestly just do it that way. Or how we did it before, where you sort of go straight across. Now, if we get into, if we do D and C would also work. So if I have D major, that's my D right there. I bring that down 1 fret for a D major 7. So it's just 2 straight across, right? So 0 on the 4th string, 2, 2, 2. And then a D7, that's my D, bring it down 2 frets to a flat 7. And then you've got that. So you've got a 2, 1, 2 kind of form. So 0 on the 4th string, and then a 2, 1, and 2. D minor, right? That's my D, and I want to bring it a flat 7. So it's going to be a 0 on the 4th string, and then a 2, 1, 1. Right? Kind of a nice chord. And then C also sort of works as a C. That's my C note right there. That's my root note. So if I just lift that off, right? Now that's my C major 7. If I put that back on and I put my pinky on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, that becomes my C7. The minor 7 doesn't work quite as well. We'll just kind of go to a bar chord there. But I wanted to throw that in there at the end just to get those open chords in there.